Rabbi say, there is a mitzvah of Sefirah So'imer. The mitzvah of Sefirah So'imer, we spoke last week. What happens if someone forgets to, is not sure if they counted a day of Sefirah? They're not sure. So we said that the person is allowed to continue counting with a bracha. Why? This is based on a concept called svek sveika. When you have two suffix, you're allowed to continue saying with a bracha. When you have one suffix, the rule is if you have a doubt whether you're supposed to say a bracha, suffix brachas lahakel not to say it because of a chash that you're entering into a bracha levatala. Because of this chash, is a rule suffix brachas lahakel. However, what happens if I have two sveikas, two doubts, meaning it's not so, it's a shvach, it weakens it. Not only there's one doubt, there's two doubts. So then already there's more logic to say, I should be able to say a bracha. That's enough to allow you to continue with a bracha. Even though it's not 100% proof that you need to say the bracha. Maybe you don't need to say the bracha. Maybe you can't say the bracha anymore. Svek sveika is enough. What's a svek sveika? We said like this. There is two opinions about Sefirah So'imer. If it's one whole mitzvah, all the 49 days are one mitzvah, or is each night a separate individual mitzvah? Make a bracha on every night a separate bracha. Seems like it's a separate mitzvah. Or is all the 49 days one long mitzvah?
So what do you make a bracha?
Machlokes. Machlokes Rishonim, is it one long mitzvah, or is it each night a separate 49 mitzvahs? What's the difference, the nafkamina? According to the one who says it's all one mitzvah, if I miss a day, you missed out the mitzvah.
Yeah.
I have to eat all 49 to make, then I have the mitzvah. According to the one, each night is separate mitzvah. If I missed a night, you continue counting.
Yeah.
This is a machlokes. Halacha, we are machmer, we're choishish for the shita that says that it's one mitzvah. And therefore, if someone missed an entire day of counting, Sefirah, he cannot continue counting with a bracha. He should continue counting because maybe the halacha is like the opinion which says that every night is a separate mitzvah. Kol laila v'laila mitzvah f'ne'atzma. But on the other hand, he can't continue counting with a bracha because we have a suffix. Maybe the halacha is like the shita which holds that it's one mitzvah, and you miss a day, you miss that out. So therefore we do two things. We continue saying the Sefirah, but we don't say it with a bracha. Because of the suffix brachas lahakol, you can't continue with the suffix. However, we said, if I can make it a svek sveika, then you can continue counting with a bracha. What's a svek sveika? For example, one example of a svek sveika is if I am not sure if I counted Sefirah. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. So it's not sure, it's a suffix. So now I have two suffix to continue counting. One suffix is maybe I really did count. And even if I didn't count, maybe the halacha is like the shita that every night is a separate mitzvah.
Right.
So that allows me to continue counting with a bracha. Even though I don't know for sure. It could be I did miss it out. It's not 100%.
Yeah.
But according to the Psak and Shulchan Aruch, it's enough if I have, it's sort of like if I have a 75% to the direction that I did not say the bracha, that I could continue saying a bracha, then I could. But if it's 50-50, I can't.
Yeah.
That's sort of like the logic behind it. Svek sveika, one suffix lahakel, not to say the bracha.
Yeah.
Two sveika, svek sveika lahachmir, machmir lahatzrich bracha, that I should say a bracha. There are shitas that hold that even when it's svek sveika, you're not allowed to say bracha. In order to be able to say a bracha, 100%. It's not only negeya to this. It's negeya. Thank you. It's negeya for a lot of other areas in Torah. We're bringing up a negeya Sefirah. A lot of different yom in Torah. When it comes to brachas, is a shaila. But the accepted halacha is one suffix you cannot make a bracha. Svek sveika you could make a bracha. Lahachmir. There is certain opinions that want to say even svek sveika is lahakol. You still can't say make the bracha. So that's one example of a svek sveika is where I'm not sure if I counted that day. then I could continue counting mikoyach of a svek sveka. Today we're going to learn another svek sveka that you can use to continue counting Sefirah Soimer. And this is if someone did not count Sefirah by night, but he remembered during the day to count. The halacha is by daytime you should count the Sefirah by day without a bracha. There are even some people that they say it during davening, right before Baruch She'amar. They have it in their siddur. Their nusach is they say the Sefirah every day. So every day they know, they make sure they said it at least by day. So if they got by night, they have by day. And then you can continue counting with a bracha. So tonight we're going to understand the reason why by day you cannot count with a bracha. On the other hand, you could continue counting the next night with a bracha.
What's the day make you?
We'll understand this reason today. Huh?
By last Shivak, they announced it after Elaine.
Right. Yeah, it's a good minig. It's a good minig. People say it by day sometime, It's a good thing. So this is going to bring us to another machlokes. There is a machlokes whether or not you could count Sefirah by day. Is Sefirah Soimer dafke something that's done at night? Or is it also by day? What's it based on?
Meaning you're yotza or can you not allowed to do it at all?
Yotza.
Okay.
Yotza. Are you Yotza Sefirah if you do it by day?
Yeah.
This is another machlokes. Okay, before we mention there's a machlokes whether it's all one mitzvah or it's 49 separate mitzvahs. It's one suffix. There's another machlokes whether or not you're allowed to count Sefirah by day. Are you Yotza the mitzvah by day? What's it based on? The Torah says when should you start counting Sefirah? Mehachel chermesh bakama tachel lisper. When you start cutting the kama, the stalks of wheat, of barley, for the mitzvah for the carbon ha'omer, brought on the second day of Pesach was brought the carbon ha'omer. When you start cutting the wheat, the barley, the sa'idim, tachel lisper, you should start counting. The Ketzira So'imer. When was the Ketzira So'imer? The Hakrava So'imer, the actual sacrifice was brought by day. When was the cutting done? By night before. So the question is, we have to go back before Sefirah to Ketzira. Ketzira So'imer. In the times of the Beis HaMikdash, when they did Ketzira So'imer by night, if they weren't able to do it by night, was it Ma'akiv or could they do it by day? If we say it was Ma'akiv, you can't do it by day. Sefirah, you can also do it by day. If we say Ketzira So'imer, you could do it by day. Before and you bring just like you bring the carbon by day. Every carbon has to be brought by day, but the cutting also can be done by day. Then the Sefirah So'imer could also be done by day. So first, in order to mavar this shaila, we have to go back to Ketzira So'imer, and there's conflicting Mishnayisin, which are mashma differently. Some are mashma you could only do it by night, some are mashma by day. Everyone is masking, by the way, the optimal time for Ketzira So'imer is by night. Everyone's masking Ketzira So'imer is l'chatchila by night. The shaila is whether b'di'evid you also can do by day. You couldn't do the Ketzira So'imer. Let's take a look at a Mishnah Megillah. Kol hayoim kosher l'kriyas ha-Megillah Gila. During an entire day, it's kosher to read the Megillah, kriyas ha-Hallel, reading Hallel, tkiyas shofar, blowing shofar, netilas lulav, taking a lulav, v'letafilas ha-musaf, and davening musaf. A whole day you could daven musaf. All musaf into the carbon musaf you could bring a whole day. All the videi ha-parim into making the videi, the confession on the karbanos. All the videi ha-meiser to saying how you bringing the meisers to the Beis HaMikdash. All the videi ha-yem kippurim. The smicha, the shchita, the tenufa, the agasha, the kmitza, the aktorah, the malika, the kabbalah, the azoya, the sprinkling the carbon, the blood on the mizbeach, to receiving the blood, la hashkoya soita, to giving the soita to drink the water, la rifas egla, chopping off the calf in the area where a dead body was found, the taras mitzvah, purifying the mitzvah. All of these mitzvahs that we mentioned, these 15 mitzvahs, and they can be done an entire day. From the morning till night. There's no specific time during the day. They can only be done till chatzos, till noon, till 3 hours of the day, 4 hours of the day. It's not like Kriya Shema Tefillah. You can do it a whole day. Same things as the Mishnah. There are also things that are kosher a whole night to do. Kol alayla kosher. Entire night it's kosher. The Ketzira So'imer. to cut the omer. You could bring onto the mizbeach to burn the parts of the behemoth that after the carbon was shechted and the blood was sprinkled by day, you could put the limbs on the mizbeach. Zehak klal. Finish with the mission. This is the rule. Anything which is mitzvahs are done by day, kasher kol hayom. You can do it the whole day. Anything with the mitzvahs to do at night, kasher kol hayom. There's no time during the night when it has to be done. You can do it the entire night. Now, this Mishnah seems to imply it's only kosher at night. Kosher kol halayla. So one of the things we mentioned in the Mishnah is Kitsira So'imer. Kol halayla kosher l'Kitsira So'imer. A whole night you're allowed to cut the Omer, the barley for the Omer carbon. The night of the 16th, the second night of Pesach. So it is not mashma you could do it by day. It's kosher kol halayla, not by day, only that night. However, we have another Mishnah, Mishnah Menachos. The Mishnah Menachos says, mitzvah say liksa balayla, the mitzvah is takel lechatchila to cut it by night. But what happens if it diyeva niksa b'yoyim? You cut it by day. Kosher, it's kosher. V'doich as a Shabbos, and
You're allowed to cut on Shabbos.
cut even on Shabbos. So here we have a clear Mishnah that this whole is only lechatchila to do it by night. B'diyeva you can do it by day. Who is the halacha like? Which Mishnah? Which Tana? And by the way, there's a rule in halacha called halacha kistam Mishnah.
Yes.
Have a Mishnah which it says a statement without any name. It doesn't attribute it to a specific Tana. It just says a statement, a fact. It's called a stam Mishnah. We say halacha kistam Mishnah. If it's said as a fact without any in the name of anyone, then it's an accepted opinion.
You have two
Except the
stam
halacha.
mitzvah.
So, but what happens if it says? What happens if it says a certain Tana's name? We'll say it's only that Tana's opinion. It could be. It's only that Tana's opinion. Lav dafka chacham held like it. But when Rabbi Yehuda Nasi also the Mishnah and he put something in as a fact, meant that Rabbi considered that the halacha. Halacha is that Mishnah. The problem over here is we can't use that kalal because both Mishnahs are stam Mishnah. The first one in Megillah, there's no name of any Tanoim, and the second Mishnah Menachos, there's no name of any Tanoim. There are two stam Mishnahs. So which one overweighs which? Can I do Ktsir Soimer by day, b'diavad or not? What's the importance for us? It's not. We're not just learning about the times of the Beis Hamikdash. We have to know whether you could do Sefirah Soimer by day or not. Depends if we pass like the first Mishnah, you can't do Sefirah by day. For the second Mishnah, you'll be able to do Sefirah by day. So let's take a look at the Rush. The next piece of the Rush, should have copied a little more of it, but this is a piece from one of the Rishonim called the Rush. It's by where it says Mem Aleph. What happens if someone forgot to not count at nighttime? One of the Rishonim wrote a sefer called the Halachas Gedolis, held shesoifer b'yoyim. You're allowed to count by day. And he brings, says the Rush, in the ending of the Mishnah in the Parak B'Shmol Menachos that we just read, it's also mashma like the opinion of the Bahag, of the Baal Halachas Gedolos, the Bahag. It's not mitzvah liksa balayla of him kotze b'yom kosher. So that's what the Baal Halachas Gedolos, the Bahag, paskins that Rishon, and it's mashma like him in Menachos. However, Avol says the Rosh, Nira Iker Ida Stama the Perek Sheni de Megillah. Kol Laila Kosher L'Ktzira Soimer. It seems to me that the Iker Halacha is like the other Stam Mishnah in Menachos that by day you could that only by night you can count. I'm sorry, by Megillah. The Iker is like the Mishnah Megillah that you can only count by night. So L'maisa, so we have here already a Machlokes Rishonim. The Bahag is saying that you could count by day, and the Rosh is supporting that with bringing a Stam Mishnah in Menachos that b'diavad you could count by day because you could do Ktsira Soimer by day. However, the Rosh himself feels that the other Mishnah in Megillah, which says that Ksira Sa'omer is only by night, is the Iker. Iker halacha is like that Mishnah. Why? Because that Mishnah is taught together with a lot of other halacha l'maisa dinim. It's not just a stam Mishnah, but the Mishnah is taught with numerous halacha l'maisa dinim, so, and which are all halacha l'poil, and they're all halachically applicable. So why should we say that all the dinim in the Mishnah apply, are the halacha, and this din in the Mishnah is not? So just like all the other dinim in the Mishnah are halacha, so to this din in the Mishnah is halacha. So the Rosh held you can't do ksira by day, and therefore you can't do sfira sa'im by day. Let's see the second to last line. It says in the ending, Hilkach im shachach b'leisav b'layil. Therefore, it concludes the Rosh. What should we do? If someone forgot and did not count at night, Yitzber b'yem, he should count by day, because maybe the halacha is like the opinion of the Bahag. Even though I don't hold that's the Iker, but the opinion of the Bahag is good that you could count by day. But below bracha, don't do with a bracha, because I hold the Iker is like the other Mishnah that you cannot count by day, and that is the halacha l'maisa. That is the halacha l'maisa. The halacha is that when we miss out Sefirah Sa'im by night, we can make it up by day, but without a bracha, based on this machloikis. Because I have a suffix brachas lahakol. If you have a suffix whether you're making a bracha, maybe the halacha is like the Mishnah in Megillah that only kol halayla kasha l'ksira saimer, only nighttime is for ksira v'meila sfira. I can't count by day, so I have a suffix whether I can make a bracha by day. So you should count it, but without a bracha.
So this is when a guy knows that he didn't make a bracha at night. What happens if he has a suffix that he didn't make a bracha at night, but it's the day now?
No, so then for sure you can continue. Then for sure you can continue counting, because you said in the beginning of Shir.
Because there's one opinion that even Svek Sveka.
Right. We hold Svek Sveka. The Shulchan Aruch, we pass in Svek Sveka, you continue counting.
It's better to be that suffix if you count at night and do it in the day.
For sure, then it's the best. Yeah, it's very good. Now.
Well, before you go on, you just brought that he holds that that it's more likely like Megillah, and the Megillah, even though they're both stum, the Megillah, it's stronger to say that the halacha is over there. But now you're bringing it to suffix. It's not the.
Still more. The Rosh concludes. The Rosh concludes that he, even the Rosh himself, who held that the Iker is like the Mishnah Megillah, he still said you should count by day. Why is he saying to count by day? It's nothing counting by day. According to the Mishnah Megillah, there's no point in counting by day. Ksira Saimer was only by night, so Sefirah Saimer was only by night.
I understand that.
But the Rosh himself, still in all, concludes you should be choishish for the Baal Halachas Gedolos' opinion and count by day.
That's not a problem.
Just don't make a bracha.
That's not a problem. The
Good,
problem
but you see from there he gives weight.
The problem is the next night.
Oh, we didn't get to the next night yet. We didn't get to the next night yet. Now, we just concluded from the Rosh what you should do by daytime. You miss by night, count by day without a bracha. Now comes the shaila, what about the next night? Can I continue counting the next night with a bracha? So we all know the halacha is that you could. If someone counts by day, he could continue counting the next night with a bracha. So even though by day he could not count with a bracha, but the next night, all the future nights, he could count with a bracha. What's the logic, the svara behind this halacha? This is based on the Trumas Hadeshin, one of the Rishonim, which is brought la halacha in Shulchan Aruch and all the Pesachim. We'll read it inside the Trumas Hadeshin, and then we'll see it in Shulchan Aruch. Now, the Trumas Hadeshin was asked the first shaila. He was asked the first shaila of Sefirah Sa'omer. What happens if you're not sure if you counted by night? If you're not sure. And he goes on to say the din also by daytime.
Sorry to נדבר
Yeah.
אני לא יודע, פשוט צריך להגיע לקונץ, הוא לקח אותי לפה, אז...
הוא נוסע ב10 לקונץ, הוא לקח אותך בקונץ.
כן,
ב10.
כן, אתה אפשרי?
כן, אחרי מה.
ב10.
תודה.
So he said so basically like this. The Trumas Hadashim first lays down the first Shiloh. What happens if you're not sure if you counted by night? I don't know. Before we discuss day. Maybe I counted at night and then maybe I didn't count at night. What's the halacha? Shiloh says the Trumas Hadashim, I have a Shiloh. Im Safak Lecha, Safak Lecha, Im Safer, Balai Lecha, someone has a doubt whether he counted at night or not. Hey, what should he do for the next nights and on? Should he count with a bracha or not? He worded these questions himself. And it could be he got these questions from people who asked it to him, but he reworded the Shaila itself. So sometimes you find Poiskim can sometimes be medayik in the nusach of the Shaila of the Trumas Hadashim. His name was Abisrael Iselin from Amish, the later Rishonim.
Where is he from?
He was an Ashkenazi. I'm not sure from which country exactly. Shaila, Shuva. Answer. Yirda, it seems, the Yisper bebracha mikam vehala. One can continue counting in such a situation. You have a suffix you counted by night. You can continue counting. But loimi boyi, it's for sure in a case a misker sveikasa b'yomahu. If you remembered by daytime that you had a suffix whether you counted by night, then for sure you should count by day without a bracha because you have a suffix whether you're allowed to count by day. That's for sure. For sure in a case where you counted by day, for sure you continue counting with the bracha. He's going to go on and say not only if you counted by day, but even if you're not sure if you counted at all, you're not sure if you counted, that also you can continue counting in both cases. Why? This is our minig. Second column. Even if someone for sure forgot by night. Not like our situation where you're not sure you counted by night. And by day you remembered, I'm not sure. Even if you sure did not count by night, what should you do? Sefirah b'yoyim b'lei bracha. Count by day without a bracha. And Sefirah shuv b'bracha, the next nights, you could continue counting with a bracha. Why? The mikri shaper tmimis, it's for sure considered tmimos. The Torah says that the 49 days have to be complete. The 7 weeks have to be complete 7 weeks. It's called complete. Since you did not skip out an entire full day.
Because you count in the day.
Yeah. Rather, not only in such a case can you continue counting the bracha, even if you did not remember till the next night, and you're not sure did I count last night or not. Like we said earlier on Al Balpeh, even if you just have if you did not count by day, and you have a suffix, did I count by night last night or not? That's enough. That suffix is enough to allow you to continue counting with a bracha. Even though if I for sure forgot one full day, we follow the opinion of the Bahag, the Kosev that holds Shachi Yemechet Shuvani Seifer. That you're not allowed to count anymore Piddush Bebracha. You can't count anymore with a bracha. The Bahag held that all the 49 days are connected to each other. If you miss one day, you miss the count. You have to have all 49.
You broke the chain.
Yeah, you broke the chain. You can't continue counting with a bracha. So if you for sure forgot a full day, you cannot continue with a bracha. Nothing to discuss. However, if you have a suffix whether you forgot a full day, your doubt, then you could continue counting with a bracha. Yeah.
This is very good, like we said, with Svek and everything, all right, the way we touched everything up last time. But according, if you want to go say that it has to do with Tamima, right, from the words, it has to be Tamima, right? What does Tamima mean? According to the definition of what we just said, it would only mean that you counted Mamish at night when you did B'Shas Ketzira, according to the Mishnah in the Megillah. It doesn't help you that you have a suffix in the daytime. That's not what Tamima means. Tamima Dafka means at night.
Right, so the emphasis that Trumas Hadashim's Lashon is not so clear. Why does he call it Timothy? He doesn't explain himself, but it seems from the later on Poskim The standing of the Trumas Hadashani is based on the concept of Svek Sveka. Because it's not, when you count by daytime, it's not for sure that you were not Yoitza. According to the Baal Halachas Gedolos, you were Yoitza.
Right.
Because he says the Iker is like the Mishnah Menachis, which says that Eina Chanami, the Ktsira Soimer, had to be L'chatchila by night, but B'diyeved, Yoitza by day. So, since there is an opinion which holds by day you were Yoitza, so I have one suffix, maybe I was Taka Yoitza when I counted by day. And I could continue counting with a bracha because I have a second suffix. Maybe the halacha is like Toisvis, who holds that every night is an independent mitzvah. That's why we make a bracha every night. It's a separate, totally independent mitzvah. If I didn't count all the days, I could still count the last night even. Missed all 48, I could still count the last night with a bracha according to Toisvis. There's nothing, they're all separate mitzvahs. According to the Baal Halachas Gedolos, the Bahag, it's one mitzvah. So, I have two suffixes here. One suffix is maybe my day counting was good. According to the Baal Halachas Gedolos, who holds by day you can count. The Baal Halachas Gedolos has two psakim here, we're quoting. One psak is a chomer, one psak is a kula. One psak is that all the 49 days are connected to each other. You can't do one without the other.
That's a chum.
That's a chumrah. Because if you miss a day, you lost it. You lost the dominoes. However, the other one, the other psakiv is that you're allowed to count by day. That's a kula. So we have machlokes rishonim basically about each one. The Bahag says by day you can count. Well, the Rosh says that you can't count with a bracha by day because he holds the ikr is that you can't count by day. Right? The Bahag says that all the days are one mitzvah. Well, there's a Tosis holds that all the days are each one's it's 49 mitzvahs. So I have here again a Svek Sveka. I have here when I counted by day. Maybe Aitaka was Yoitza by day because the halacha is like the Bahag that you could count by day. And even if the halacha is not like the Bahag, maybe the halacha is like the Toisvis, the Riyu, or Ben Yitzchak who holds that every night is a separate mitzvah. So I have two Svekis pointing the direction of allowing me to continue counting. It's sort of like 75% in the direction of continuing to count. I have two Svekis, it makes a majority to the direction that I could continue counting. That's called Svek Sveka Lahachmir. The Klal Gadol brachas is Safik brachas Lahakol. Well, that's when there's one suffix, then it's like I'm getting myself into Chash bracha Lavatala. Two Svekis, according to the Psak of Shulchan Aruch, and most poskim, two Svekis are enough to be machmir that you could say a bracha. You should say a bracha.
That's why he's saying that if you completely have a suffix and it's already there's no more day. You remembered about the suffix and it's already the next night.
Even then, you continue counting. Also, mikoyach svek sveka.
Because of Tosfos.
So
what's this?
Both of them use the suffix of Tosfos. Both of them use a suffix that maybe the Allah is like Tosfos every night is a separate mitzvah. Just the second suffix is where they differ. Regarding the situations. Regarding the day, the second suffix is we're using the ping of the bahag that daytime you're allowed to continue counting. You're allowed to count by day. So you're saying you're allowed to count by day, but diavad. Everyone's masking you have to count by night. Ksir soimer mitzvah by night. But diavad nixer by yoyim kasher. The Mishnah Menachah says. But diavad you can. The others when you're not sure if you counted that day, b'chlal, for a whole 24-hour period, I'm not sure if I counted. That not sure is also a suffix. It's also a suffix, like we spoke last week. It's also a suffix. So I have that suffix, and then I have the suffix of the Allah is like Tosis. So I have again my Svek Sveka.
Why do they cut that night? Don't you harvest it during the day when there's light outside?
That's a shayla.
You could see anything when you.
It's a shayla in Torah and the psukim how they learned it out. That you have to count by night. I don't know what's. It's obviously harder to count by night, especially those days when they didn't have.
There was no light. There was no.
Yeah, well, they had torches, you know.
Bein HaShemoshos. They start Bein HaShemoshos.
Oh, they started.
I understand that lechatchila it's better to do it at night. Now that we have
the middle sheds, how they used to do.
precedent that
The
you
Gemara
can
said
do
how
it
they used to
every
do.
day. If you have a guy who, for whatever reason, he's inconsistent with his marv. Let's say he's an older man and he gets sick very often, and so it's hard for him to come out of class for a minyan. Very often he goes to sleep early. So for such a guy, would you tell him that if there is more than a 50% chance that you're going to miss Sefirah Omer at night, during the day you should say with a bracha?
No, the Sefirah by day you can't tell them to say with a bracha because I'll tell you why.
Even if you, yeah. Okay.
I'll tell you why. The Svek Sveka is only in regards to the next night. That day you only have one suffix. The suffix is, am I allowed to count by day or not? And when there's one suffix, the halach is brachas lahakal.
Yeah.
So he should take account every day. That individual should count every day without a bracha, just because he made sure he should get himself into the habit of daily counting. He davens, whatever it is. I count every day Sefirah after I daven, before I daven, I count my Sefirah. This way, in case something happens, you always, but to say with a bracha you can't, because daytime you don't have the sheet of Tosfos that every night's a separate mitzvah. That comes when it comes the next night. Then you have an opinion which says it's a new night, a new mitzvah. But so the day everyone agrees you can't count with a bracha. Safek brachas lahakol. Regarding the next night, now I have the svek sveika kicks in. So we spoke about two svek sveikas. Whether I have a doubt whether I counted at all that in the 24-hour period, or if I counted by day. Both those cases, I'm using a svek sveika to continue counting. If I forgot entirely to count for 24-hour period, I know for sure I didn't count. The straight halach and Shulchan Aruch is you're not allowed to continue counting with a bracha. Although there are certain poskim, not in Shulchan Aruch, that do want to say that reality is, if you look in the Rishonim, you will find that Roiv Rishonim, majority of Rishonim, hold like the opinion of Tosfos that all the nights are independent mitzvahs, and the Bahag is a minority opinion. So they question the psak of Shulchan Aruch, and they're bothered with the psak of Shulchan Aruch, and therefore they feel that in the case of Satzayrich or something like that, you can allow the person, if the person's let's say he's a chazan, he's diving for the amen, it's going to be a big embarrassment, so whatever different reasons they want to say, or certain chassidish tzaddikim who held that the inyan of bracha, making Sefirah Soimer, the bracha, is so important. There were different tzaddikim that held that you should better allow the person to continue saying with the bracha, because bracha of Sefirah Soimer is very chashuv and everything. But the Ma'aseh, that's not the standard psak. You're not going to open up the Mechaber, you're not going to open the Alter Rebbe Shulchan, you're not going to open the Mishabru, you're not going to find that. You're not going to find that, but there is poskim, someone has a Rav who he feels the pasuk like them, okay? But that's not the straight up psak in Shulchan.
Who's he basing it on? What name?
I don't remember the exact shuvas that hold that way, but there are poskim that.
But it's Sarach Ian because usually you follow the Rav when it comes to.
Oh, the shaylas on Shulchan Aruch. Why? That's a good shayla. Why the Shulchan Aruch? But maybe you can answer. I don't know. When it comes to brachas, we're very machmer in brachas. When it comes to brachas, even if a lot of opinions say hold one way, but since there's an opinion that says you shouldn't make a bracha, we're choishish for that opinion. You always see this in Birchas Hananen. So for me, I, without getting to the sugya, years ago I went into it. I don't recall the details, but I don't really understand so much the shayla, because if you learn Birchas Hananen, you go through the dinim of brachas. We find this all the time, that the ikar halach is like a certain opinion, but since it's an opinion which says that you should not make a bracha in that instance, we're choishish l'chatchil not to make the bracha. So we find that by brachas, because of the severity of a bracha l'vatala, because a bracha l'vatala could go under the category of the third Aseret Adibris, l'sis Hashem alekecha l'shav, you're saying Hashem's name in vain for no reason. Because it could go, bracha l'vatala could go under the category of the third Aseret Adibris, we're very machmer with it, with bracha l'vatala. It's considered a very severe thing. You're playing around with Hashem's name. So therefore, we're choishish even for like a das yachid. So over here it could be too. The Shulchan Aruch knows obviously the majority of opinions hold like Tosfos. That's what it seems when you learn. You learn the Rishonim. But after became the Baal Halachas Gedolah Shita is enough. He was a chashav arishan enough that we should be concerned for his words when it came to brachas. I'm just throwing out a svara just to mekayim our meaning that we do follow the Shulchan Aruch and we do follow the Mechaber, the Shulchan Aruch, the Alter Rebbe, and the Mishabru, that all paskin you can activate with him.
He was the only one, one of the only ones.
Who? Basically, yeah. I don't know if there's anyone else that's that opinion. It's all the Rishonim quote his opinion as being that, and they all don't seem to really follow that way. They don't.
You say that it's a set. You're saying the other way. It means the argument separate. You're saying it's separate.
It is interesting. It is interesting that this inyan, a lot in halacha usually we say majority Rishonim. That's what we follow. In this case over here, we are concerned for the sheet of the Bahag, and that it's one mitzvah. And all the mitzvahs connect to each other, and therefore you couldn't be able to continue counting. I'm just saying possible hezber is when it comes to brachas we're very mad. I don't know.
Are you saying you're sure about that hezber? And you have a question, why is it a question?
I'm not sure 100% that's the hezbollah over here. I know that it seems to be in brachas b'chlal that we're very makbid. I'm not 100% sure. I have to relook over the inyanim. Okay, so Lamaisa. Let's take a look on the other side of the page. We'll read this halach in Shulchan Aruch, and then we're going to have a new shaila. We're going to have another shaila.
You could bring one more thing to bring by the by Birkas Nehanim, right? We're talking about, as you said, a suffix bracha. Not, I wouldn't say with Luvatalo, Shem Tzricha, Shem Shav, whatever. Here, this could have to 40, 50 different brachas over here by paskening the wrong way.
Yeah, so some people also feel, some of the poskim, one of the reasons what's also leading them to be makel, to allow something into the bracha, is saying if a person's not going to say a bracha, she's going to feel like the whole mitzvah is going to become some mazals on the mitzvah. He's not going to feel the mamshech to count properly the next night. He's not going to feel. If you're saying the bracha, so therefore they want to more be noit in certain situations. Listen, I can understand, even a Rav, someone who follows Al Tareh Shulchan Aruch, if would see a certain need, maybe would maybe say that, maybe there's room to say that.
Loses connection. But we do say that if somebody did not make a bracha for sure a whole day and a whole night, continue counting without a bracha. So
that's for sure. That's for sure. You have to continue counting bracha. Correct. There's no clear psak in any of these machlokes. Only these machlokes were choishish to both opinions. We're choishish to the bahag that it's all one mitzvah. On the other hand, we're choishish to the read that every night separate mitzvah, continue counting without a bracha. And we're the choishish to the opinion of the bahag that says you could count by day. On the other hand, we're choishish for the opinion of therefore you should count by day. But we're choishish to the opinion of the Rosh who says that you're not allowed to count by day and therefore do it without a bracha. So we cover all our bases when it comes to these machlokes. There's no clear cut psak.
Does it say that you're supposed to listen to the chazan if you can't make a bracha?
100%. Person can listen to the chazan.
Try to be
very good. Very good, the Eitzah. Someone daving b'tzibur, he missed the bracha, but he can listen to the chazan or someone else. Someone else, he's standing next to him, he's not in shul. You can ask him, please make the bracha loud. I want to be Yoitza with you, and I'll say Amen, 100%.
Yes, he's called the beans.
Right? The bigger problem is in the shuls where they give the Rav, where the Rav says the Sefirah. And what happens if the Rav forgot the Sefirah?
I know.
So that's where the Rabbanan have to come up with the heter. They rely on Toysus Shita because it's a real big problem, big busha.
Yeah, big busha.
So therefore you have to rely on the Toysus Shita every kol laila v'laila mitzvah f'ne'atzma.
I know someone, he didn't get his position because of that. He would say he's an honest guy, but he could have been Saimach on it. And they asked him he was trying out, he was having a problem to be a Rav. And they asked him to say the bracha from the Sibur. And instead of it, to me this is godless. He says, I counted the wrong night last night. I'm sick. I can't count it. He didn't get the position.
So you see, he was a hefsa berupa. He maybe had the tzayda for
Shafsar. But they're a bunch of idiots because they should understand.
Yeah, so it wasn't for him that kehila. He would have fought with him all the time.
Right, he couldn't give the hector when he was supposed to give the hector.
Oh, you don't want a job, probably.
I'm not going to ask you which place. I'm not going to ask you names.
No.
It's not only the kehila has to check out the Rav, right? The Rav also has to check out the kehila. You have to see if the kehila is gonna,
What kind of
You
question
think,
you gonna ask him?
Rabbi Lerner just gives a shir anywhere? He checked us out good. He's not
It's on the record. Be careful.
Okay. So Rabbi say that's the next page we have are the Shulchan Aruch and the Mechaber. We see clearly the din shachach v'lei beirich. Someone forgot to not make a bracha called a laila. Yisper b'yoyim b'loi bracha. Should count by day without a bracha. Let's take a look at the Alter Rebbe. This is Chazara, basically what we said out loud. We'll just read it quickly, and then we'll read another tshuva on the bottom of the page, Anu Shaila. Le'inyan halacha, Sif Chav Dalid, Noyegin Lisper B'Shalez B'lei Bracha. If someone forgot a whole entire night and day, should continue counting the rest of the day, nights without a bracha. Bein HaShemoshos b'layla rishin, Bein HaShemoshos b'echa mashar kol leilos was the first night, and the other nights, a fish, a suffix brachas laka, without a bracha because of the sheet of the bahag, If you miss the 24-hour period, you can't make a bracha. But medvar woman kishniska kol halayla v'chol yom hamachros, an entire night, entire day. Avol niska l'machar b'yoyim. If you were called by day, v'safar b'lei bracha, and you counted by day without a bracha, like we explained earlier, that's what you're supposed to do. Yisper v'sharkel is a bracha. Then you could continue counting the future night with a bracha. She'af l'fi svar rishayna v'hifse mitzvahs asfira v'chesan layla echad. Because even according to the first opinion, that says that all the days of Sefirah are one mitzvah, you do not lose out the mitzvah by missing one night. You count it by day. So it's considered tamimis. Even though some people say that Sefirah is only by night, the rush. If you forgot by night, you can't count by day. It's not worth anything to continue the count. And we have the other opinion to combine mitzaref, the opinion of the Tois is the whole, that even if you missed an entire day, even many days, you continue counting with the bracha. Now, chedushim, just what we said out loud. Now, it's Shuvah's based David from early Sfardische Poisik from city of Salonika in Greece, and its base David had an interesting shaila. The shaila was, someone asked him, what's the din if someone forgot at night to count? He forgot by day to count. By Bein HaShemoshos, the ending of the day, twilight time, between day and night, after Shkia, it's after sunset, but it's not yet nightfall. It's an in-between time, Bein HaShemoshos. Then he remembered, I didn't count the night before.
What does he do now?
Now, what happens if right now, during Bein HaShemoshos, he counts the past day? He counts the past day.
Another suffix.
What's the halacha?
Then he's messed up from both sides.
Right.
Because you're allowed to count this.
Because if he messed up by saying good, he messed up by both sides. Because he might not even according to the other shita, he might not be able to count right now.
He might be counting the wrong.
Right.
The base of a paskins. The base of a paskins that you can't continue counting with a bracha in such a case. Why? He said like this. When do we say the Sefirah is when you count it by day? So then I say, it could be your Yoitza by day because there's an opinion that holds your Yoitza by day. Even if not, could be every night as independent mitzvah. Over here, you counted not during the day, you counted by Bein HaShemoshos time when it might be the next night, the next day. So you have even a doubt whether you counted by day. Mm-hmm. So even your day is not for sure. So now I have a problem because now it's much schwacher now. Now I have now it's much weaker, the Sefirah. Right. Very weak now. Ein Hanami, there's a certain percentage of chance that maybe Bein HaShemoshos, maybe this part of Bein HaShemoshos is daytime, because it's a suffix. Time Bein HaShemoshos is suffix Yom, suffix Laila. Maybe it's day. So if it's day, you were Yoitza. But even if it was day, Lav Dafki Yoitza, Lav Dafki Yodeh.
You're going backwards, you're taking away one suffix.
Yeah.
No more Sefirah.
He doesn't have a real suffix.
Not only that.
It's like 55%. It's not enough. It's not enough of a
45. It's even worse.
No. He has one full suffix.
No.
That maybe every night's independent mitzvah.
One minute.
But then he has
Then he has another half. That's not enough.
I'm saying what he's doing.
According to the Beis David, there are poskim that hold differently. According to the Beis David, that's not enough.
He's ruining. Everyone is masking that you should count it without a bracha. If he does it Bein HaShemoshos, then he risks himself of missing an entire mitzvah, even if it's without the bracha, because it's a suffix right now what night it is. Should it be the day before or the day after? So what you're doing is you're putting your
no, he's going to count again. He's going to count later on when it's night. You're going to count that night. He's going to count the real Sefirah again.
You can't have in
you
mind.
Can't do it in mind.
If it's Bein HaShemoshos and you're allowed to count the following the next day, could you have in mind I'm counting now the previous day?
No, you could use that Bein HaShemoshos two directions.
Oh.
Maybe it's maybe it's Laila. So he's going to count Bein HaShemoshos for the past day
without a bracha.
Without a bracha.
And then at night.
Or even Bein HaShemoshos, the halacha we hold you can count Bein HaShemoshos for the next day You could
Oh,
count
you
Bein
could.
HaShemoshos for the next
That's why-
Why does the Beis David say that it's usher? Does he say that you can't do that? Does he apply that principle to Bein HaShemoshos in general? Like, let's
No.
figure out-
It's only the Bein HaShemoshos going of the day going out, not of the incoming day. Bein HaShemoshos has a time period where we're not sure if it's the previous day or the next day.
Right.
Over here, the story is not that he counted during that period the upcoming night's sphere. He counted
No,
the previous
for the
previous nights.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
tonight he's
The
gonna
Beis
count-
David has a problem with this. He's timing that now you have a very weak suffix. Till now, if you count it by day, so I have a real svek sveika. Maybe by day it's a good sphere. If not, I have the sheet that holds every night. It's a separate mitzvah. But over here, I'm not even sure if I count it by day. Maybe maybe I was saying the wrong sphere. I was counting the next night. Maybe it was nightfall already, and this sphere is totally the wrong sphere. Kimuvan, later on at night, he has to count the sphere of the next night. That's obvious. He has to count, otherwise he can't continue. The Beis David holds not. But some people could taina and say, listen, we have some opinions that want to say, not like Shulchan Aruch, they want to say even if you miss the night entirely, you can continue counting with a bracha, right? Because they hold that the Iker is like Toises, that's the Iker Shita, every night's a separate mitzvah. So over here I can add on another little bit of a suffix, because there's still a epis vas, right? Maybe he did count by day, right? So there's a maybe over here, right? So I have something more to add on to the scale. So it's not really a legitimate svek sveika, but maybe in this case, where the Iker halacha is really like the Toises that each night is a separate mitzvah, maybe this is enough of a suffix to add on to the scale. L'maisa Shulchan Aruch doesn't clearly discuss it, and so every person will have such a situation. First of all, she should take account the Sefirah, because maybe it will be good, not like the Beis David, and then go ask a Rav. Now, you don't have to ask the Rav first and try to get through to Rav, and Bein HaShemoshos is going to go by. If someone has a situation where he remembers by Bein HaShemoshos time, nothing's going to happen. Count the previous day's Sefirah without a bracha. And then call a Rav and ask if that helped me to continue counting with a bracha for the next
By the time you finish such a lumdish thought, it's going to be the next day. He's going to miss 2-3 days of spirit by the time you finish.
Well, there's some people.
You have to make. That's why a Rav. We expect our Rabbanim when we call them up to have immediate answers. But we have to understand also the shaila. It requires thinking. If the Rav is always able to answer the first second, kol ha-Torah kula, either he's a goyin oilam or a mature. How can he answer up everything right away? So Moshe Feinstein is Moshe Feinstein, but if you're not Moshe Feinstein,
Moshe Feinstein did not answer right away.
even a Moshe, no? So
You weren't with an olam, and you weren't counting during the night or at night, but as it gets a little bit day, but it's still kind of dark, you say, "Oh, I didn't count with a bracha." How late can you count with a bracha?
You mean till when they start the day that you
Yeah,
missed?
when does day begin that you can no longer count with a bracha for that day? But you'll count. But question is,
till dawn.
what's the latest that till
Zman
dawn.
published. You buy
Till dawn. What time is that
It's
at
like the same
night?
thing like when the fest.
They
When the
call
fest
up Zmanim,
the
the
calendars.
look for dawn, Aloisa
Primus.
Shachar.
What's the name? Primus. There's a calendar which makes all this money.
the telephone, we don't mind with telephone. So we can't pop off.
You're saying that
pop off.
some will disagree with the Beis David. Said there's no clear halakha.
Yeah, I show you.
Every local rabbi.
Yeah.
Ask your LR.
The Beis David has a very good point. It has a very good point, but
Lord of the Rings.
Your local Lord of the Rings.
there is room for a Rav to go this way and that way, depending on his understanding. And that's a Rav. There's a koyach. A Rav has a koyach that he's supposed to paskin he's supposed to paskin the way he understands it. He's not allowed to paskin means he doesn't understand. Unless he's saying over, if it's a clear-cut halacha from a big posek, he's Saimich, or he's a Talmud of a certain posek, that's his Rebbe, so he accepts his Rebbe, whatever his Rebbe says. It's one thing. You're a Lubavitcher Chassid, whatever Lubavitcher Rebbe says. You're a Satmar, whatever Satmar. Whatever your Rav is, wherever your Rav is, I accept his psak. That's one thing. But what happens if it's not that way? Then the Rav himself is going to have to make a psak. Do I hold this way or do I hold that way? So there's not always a clear cut thing, and the Rav has a thing. And whichever way he goes, if that's your Rav, it's binding for you. If that's your Rav, Asra the Rav Kirab, that's your Rav. You ask him all your Shilas. That's the Rav. You shouldn't be shopping for Shilas. You know, this Rav one day, this Rav another day. Listen, you can't get through to Rav, you ask another Rav. But for Klali, a person should have find his Rav that he's comfortable with that he can ask a
When
Shilas.
people go to this for Pesach, so they ask the Rav, what should I do? 1 day or 2 days? He said, which answer you want? According to this Lubavitcher Rav is 1 day. According to this Lubavitcher Rav is 2 days. So which Rav you wanted to go? What do you want? You want to do 1 day or 2 days?
Rav told me he got a question. Someone called him up. A lady called him with a Shaila. He said his psak, but the lady said, but on the internet it says something different. She made a search already. She was prepared. She was already prepared with the Rav. She's already having her debate. So the Rav said to her, listen, if you have your psak on the internet, then I don't know why you're calling me. Why you calling? You have your psak, you know.
You use the internet.
You asked Rabbi Google, so you asked Rabbi Google, so I'm not your Rav.
You mentioned the internet, I won't talk to you.
Yeah. The fact that you use the internet, I'm not talking.
The daf today in the state, they're talking about the Gemara said, should you teach your wife you go to Torah or not, and why one yes, one not?
I read a story
Teach your daughter what?
for Shabbos
Torah.
that a rabbi
supposed to teach her or not?
was being interviewed
supposed to
for
teach her?
There's
a
two
big
opinions.
post
opinions.
in Europe, and he was interviewed, and the interviewer, who was a really heavy-duty guy, asked him a shayla. And he says, he thinks about it, and he says, I don't know. And he goes home to his wife, and he says, I said, I don't know, and I don't think that's the kind of person that they're looking for. And a while later, that particular heavy-duty Rav that interviewed him came to his door and said, you have the
He
job.
said this publicly.
Wow.
You know,
I want a Rav, I want a Rav who has the honesty to admit that he doesn't have the answer.
Right, so listen, we have to know, today's days, the Rabbanim under pressure, because if they're going to say on the phone, they say, I don't know, the person's not going to call them again, because you don't know.
Yeah, it could be this.
They go to another rabbi.
Yeah.
You have to know, also, just like you go to a doctor, you look for a good doctor, you look for a top doctor, you have to look for a top Rav.
Hey, Rabbi Google never say I don't know.
Well, the Chazal does say that you should seek a good doctor
That's right.
and a good Rav.